Evening, two games on the way on tonight's match of the day. Shay and Troy Deeney are with us. First, Liverpool on a run of 3 straight defeats in all competitions against Manchester United, who haven't won away from home in the league since March. Commentary comes from Guy Mowbray.
It's been a long time coming. It's been a tough place for us over the recent years, and we know how big it is for our fans. And listen, we all have the cliche of it's only 3 points, but yeah, it's a lot more than 3 points that today.
What was the decisive factor in winning today?
Spirit. Sometimes we struggle to choose the right moment to press. They are really good as a team. They have really talented players, but the way they compensate everyone, especially in the crosses, the spirit to play one team that likes to have the ball but spend so many time today without the ball. I think the spirit of the team made the difference.
It's always difficult to play against a team that defends in the low block, that mainly plays the long ball. But it makes it even more difficult if you go 1-0 down after 1 minute after a player of us is on the floor. And then I think if you would have told me before the game that against the low block, against the team that plays so many long balls, we would have created as much chances as we did, I would have not expected us to lose this game of football.
We control the momentum, like winning a throw-in, winning a second ball, pushing the opponent to their half sometimes when we won the second ball. That is really important, and they did that so much better than other games.
Any concerns over the run of results?
If you lose 4 times in a row, you need to be concerned because you know how it works in football. If we can keep bringing these performances in, we will have a fair chance of winning more football games. And if we can do a few things a little bit better, we would even have a better chance of winning a game of football.
How significant is it that that's back-to-back Premier League wins for the first time in too long?
Yeah, again, that's just, it's embarrassing really. It's not a stat that we should be even speaking about because it's just an embarrassing stat to have. So now that's out of the way, let's try and make it 3 on Saturday against Brighton, because we've got to start putting a bit more consistency together. We've got to make sure we maintain our focus, our heads. But yeah, of course, we'll enjoy the victory because it's a huge victory for the club.
We'll talk Harry Maguire in a little while, but Arne Slot there said United basically sat deep and hit long balls in the main. Do you think that's slightly unfair?
It's massively unfair. We're going to show you now. I think they finally started to get it right down this right-hand side here, what Amorim's been trying to work on for a long time. We're going to highlight Amorim and Diallo on this right-hand side. You see, they do go long here from the goalkeeper. They're not expecting to win the ball there. You expect Virgil van Dijk to win it, but they're landing on second balls. And Brian Mbeumo here just makes himself a nuisance. But this is what he's talking about here when he's talking about pace and power and the effort in every moment. Look, he runs past 2 Liverpool players, one of them being Virgil van Dijk. Lovely ball from Diallo, bang, great finish after 1 minute there, up and running. But this is where they want to get to in their build-up of playing. We're talking about long balls. This is a pass, isn't a long ball. Great run from Brian Mbeumo there, just keeps Kerkez inside, now allows Diallo 1v1, but that run also occupies Van Dijk now, so it's opening up that 1v1 on this right-hand side. As soon as they can start to come, it opens up spaces for Bruno Fernandes, and in my opinion, he should score there, but it's just showcasing again down this right-hand side. Now Kerkez is a little bit late, leaving that space for Brian to run into. Van Dijk does not want to be outside his 18-yard box, but he is. Now look at the spaces that's opened up for Cunha. They've got the pace, they've got the power, and they're just delivering again. And on another day, Mason Mount puts that in. It's a real difficult chance for him. But what it did do, it created so much trouble for Virgil van Dijk, who we normally see poised and controlled. He goes to running behind there, he stops, he's second-guessing himself. Now he thinks he should jump. And how many times have we seen Van Dijk sliding in? And look at this. We didn't see this from Liverpool at all last year. 3 players being disappointed in the reaction. Again, on another day, they could score 1. Not only that one, they could have scored here. But it's just, again, Man United coming down this right side. For some reason here, Konate runs out this space, vacates it. Yes, the shot's not great, but it just showcased. Down that right-hand side, there's so many patterns of play they'll be really happy with.
But the key to it is consistency, isn't it? The key is to keeping the same right wing back and Mbeumo there, the same, so that they can build up those relationships.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, it's hard for a lot of energy and effort to keep doing it week in, week out. But I think now it's more about the mental. It's more about can they do it next week? Because I think going into this game against Brighton, they're going to be favourites. They haven't been favourites in a few weeks. So for them now to get used to winning games, and this man can talk about that a lot better than me.
No, well, I'm not going to let him talk. I'm not going to let him talk about. I'm not going to let him talk about. I just want to go back to the goal that United scored. And now Arne Slot said, they did have a player on the floor. They didn't make a big thing of it afterwards, though, didn't Liverpool, because games could be stopped for a head injury, but it happens very quickly, doesn't it?
I think it's tough for Michael Oliver, because you can see the challenge. It's Van Dijk, actually, he comes over the top of Mbeumo, and of course McAllister takes the brunt of his elbow. You see Michael Oliver in the shot as well. Obviously there's a coming together, and we see this a lot in football. We don't know if it's a serious injury or not. You know, you can see McAllister rolling around, so he's not knocked out clean out. Or I know they score, I know Liverpool's going to be angry with it, but at the same time it's not like the Liverpool players stopped. They still tried to get back, they still tried to defend it, and you see here Van Dijk's elbow catches him. But in Michael Oliver's defence, he only has a couple of seconds to decide, is that right? Arne Slot obviously is not happy because it ends up in the back of the net. And we just want to try and balance it up a wee bit. This is Maguire. You know, Ekitike comes and takes him out, hits a head injury. You see Michael's about to blow the whistle again, and he's thought, do you know what? No, I can play an advantage, I'll play on. Maguire's still on the ground at this point. And this is where the corner comes from. So I think you've got to give Michael a little bit of credit. I know Liverpool fans watching won't be happy that it wasn't called up, but it's a difficult one, because you see a lot of players going down, getting a knock on the chest, holding their head, trying to get the game stopped.
Because you probably need three or 4 seconds. Are you saying 3 or 4 seconds to work out whether it's a head injury that requires attention and needs the game to be stopped? You need 3 or 4 seconds to assess it, and by that time it was at Mbeumo's feet.
Well, that was at his feet, and they were breaking. And again, I think it was the clock showed 9 seconds or whatever it was in the back of the net. So there's still a physio or a doctor came on within really short succession of the collision, you know, so that is important. McAllister did need medical treatment, there's no getting away from that. But again, I think it's a tough decision for Michael Oliver to make, and for me, I thought he refereed both incidents correctly.
Harry Maguire, only his 3rd start in the league for Manchester United this season. Ruben Amorim said he needed to bring him in for his experience, and he talked about the spirit afterwards as well.
Yeah, and his leadership, and you know, he's used to be the captain of the football club. Today, you know, going to Anfield, and he mentioned in the interview, back-to-back wins is embarrassing. But this is sort of, some of the stuff is relatively basic for a centre half, but being in the right area at the right time. And what I love about Harry Maguire more than anything is he's really dominant in both boxes. You know, he clears things, he heads things, and for me as an ex-goalkeeper, I love that. You know, how many centre-halves shy away from that, don't want to go and attack the ball. He's leading from the back. Again, that's a brilliant header, facing his own goal mark. That could end up anywhere. You can see him there pointing, organising. Again, it's another difficult ball in, but he deals with it really well. This is the goal, of course, and you just see, keep an eye on Mahari at the top of the screen. He just peels off the back of Kanate. And again, that's just, I don't know, Shearer-like finish with a header. Back where it came from, back in the corner. It's a brilliant header, and again, what you said, it's his 3rd start. I think he should start a lot more often. You see the reaction to these players. He gets a round of applause going back in the dressing room. I remember him taking him off this season against Chelsea. Chalobah scored. I think Maguire heads that clear. I don't understand Ruben taking him off, and maybe today might be the manager going, hang on a minute, with his leadership qualities and him at the back, we're a better team.
There's so much talk about Liverpool and their attacking players and how they fit them in, and we will come on to that in just a moment. But defensively, they are struggling this season. They are not at the level they were last season. Why do you think that is?
Maybe a little bit of complacency from last year, but I think when you start looking at these stats, it's very hard to say. Last season they conceded 3 goals from set pieces. Three goals in general. 11 goals from this season already. 5 from set pieces. It's just not 2 clean sheets as opposed to 5 all of last year. It just feels like it's a little bit disjointed. Have they been a little bit upset in the transfer market, not getting all the business that they want to do? We're speaking about how much business they've done. Still wanting Mark Gahey in there, didn't get him in. A lot of players have been injured. Kirkes hasn't been great. Alisson going down. I just feel it's a bit disjointed at this moment in time.
Because they have all these options further forward. Those options further forward still have roles to play on set pieces. So when you change them, it's about getting those instructions over to them as well, isn't it?
I think the recruitment was top-heavy. You know, the strikers, there are lots of forward attacking-minded players, Wirtz, Ekitike, Isak, of course. And they didn't forget about the back, but they wanted, as he says, Gahey, they wanted maybe a couple more players in defensively. But again, if these forward players we're looking at here on the screen, their job is to defend as well. You defend from the front, and maybe Arne Slot is just looking for that perfect formula. He's trying different players in different positions, but again, that's not great either, chopping and changing. These players have to work back to protect the likes of Van Dijk and Kanate at the back.
Would either of you be able to, at the moment, say what your first choice Liverpool front 3 would be out of those 5?
Not on current form, but I think Ekitike has to be involved. is scoring, and for some reason he's come out to try and make other people fit in. If he's scoring and playing, leave him in. Let Isak earn it. But I'd like to see him on the left-hand side where Gakpo is. I think he does exactly the same, coming in and getting that shot off on that right-hand side. How many times today when we watched it, we know he's coming in on that right foot, you just can't stop him. So I think he needs to have a little bit more game time from the start, but I do think that front three just need to relax a little bit and start to think about the team as opposed to themselves. I think they're all goal first as opposed to team first. I think if they lost today 5-1 and one of them scores, they're quite happy, and that's not how a team works.
Do you think, given the amount of money that the majority of those individuals have cost, can you understand if they are, as you say, goal first?
Yeah, it's ego, right? They've all been the main person at their team that they once was at, and Salah's the main man at Liverpool, but now you've got Isak, Wirtz, you've got all these different players who have come in who have been the main men at their team, and now it's all of that balance in ego. I was talking to you about it in the green room, like, how was that for you at Man City when player after player come? And you said basically the culture was, if you weren't good enough, you got moved on. That's what Liverpool are now moving into, a space where if you're not good enough, you'll just get moved on. It's next man up.
Just back to Manchester United. At the end there, we talked about Mbeumo on one side, Matheus Cunha, who's had a difficult-ish start to his United career in terms of, goal contributions, for example. But he performed a really important role for them the last sort of 10 minutes, didn't he?
Yeah, and I've been really impressed for the moment that he signed, even like from his Instagram posts, he's kind of like, he wants all of the pressure. And we were saying after about 60 minutes, the guys yesterday were talking about the Brazilian lads travelling and looking really tired for Newcastle. Everything we're showing here is in the 83rd minute and onwards. It was just really smart play. Look, gets a little bit luckier, but just keeps going, looks after the ball, puts his body in the way, nicking fouls, game management, understanding what to do. And these parts here are the bits for me. Just, again, not making it about people that aren't there, but people that were once there before would never have been doing this for Man United. Being really smart here, look, keeps the ball moving. Again, not admiring his work, going again. And just these positions that he's picking up here is fantastic. If he doesn't go in here, Liverpool keep the play going. Being brave to go and head it, get it out of there. But this is the one I like. This is right at the end of the game. Look, if he's not there, that goes to Liverpool. Smart enough now, wins a foul. And then, just gets an extra few seconds when the cramp kicks in there very, very late.
But the intensity of him and Mbeumo is a real contrast.
Oh, absolutely. But it also...
to the past.
Yes, it just raises the level as well. It says to everybody else, yes, we've brought these people in on big money and yes, they expect to start. But if you're not delivering the basics...
I think what strikes me off that piece is the work rate. You're talking about a Brazilian attacking player, a flair player, guy to bring you goals. But what Ruben's brought to the team is, at Anfield away, we want with wingers, and when you mentioned Acuna, to track back, work back for your team. And that was a brilliant display defensively.
There was no throwing arms, there was no, why me? Just get the job done.
Right, Aston Villa.